Hello and welcome to the Dad Whisperer. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Watson, and I love that you're here, dads learning how to become heroes, because that is my heart and my passion for you. Well, today we're going to have a really fun conversation. So if you are a dad of a teenage daughter, know someone who's the dad of a teenage daughter, or you maybe are a teenage daughter, you are going to want to listen in today. I have two friends with me, and these, if you can believe it, these two people, a dad and his teenage daughter, actually like to spend time together. Yep, I am not kidding you. And did you catch the fact that we're talking about a teenage girl? Like, this isn't just any daughter. It's a teenage daughter who actually told me, yeah, my dad's like one of my best friends. So I'm like, you guys have to come and tell your story. So Maddie is 16 years old. She's a sophomore at Westside Christian High School. She's an athlete who's exhausted right now with all she has on her plate. And her biggest recent accomplishment is, drumroll, driver's license. So yes, Dad has a few new gray hairs on this one, but she's out on the roads now driving. Steve is a former ABBA Project graduate. Okay, I've got to start there, right? And he also served nearly 20 years in the educational arena, most recently as interim principal of Westside Christian High School. And during that time, listen to this, he co-founded a program to mobilize young people to develop a heart of compassion, humility, collaboration, restoration, and justice. And I know that he's done that even in other countries, not just here in the U.S. and in our local Portland area. And now he's currently the executive director of Kindred Partners here in Portland. So having said that, welcome Maddie and Steve Pringle.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Glad you guys are here.
Super fun to be here.
Yay. Well, it's fun to have you guys here. Well, as you guys know, or maybe don't know, every week I use I get this picture in my mind of dads standing side by side, getting ready to run their fathering race. And I'm a coach. Well, you guys are standing with me today as coaches. How's that sound? Like, ready or not?
A lot of pressure there.
We can try to do that.
Yeah, okay. And we are going to encourage dads with On Your Mark is the title, Get Set is your stories today. And then we're going to end with a go step for dads to put their love for their daughters into action this week. So Maddie and Steve, how does this sound? How does this title sound today? Where I want to call it How to Win the Heart of Your Teenage Daughter. How's that sound?
Pretty good, yeah.
Because I have watched, because I've known you guys for a number of years, I've watched you, Dad, win the heart of your teenage daughter. And you set that in motion long before she hit her teens. And I believe that's paying dividends now. So how about if today in our conversation, I ask questions kind of back and forth? You know, I'll go a little Maddie question, little Steve question. And I would like to start with you, Maddie. Let's just start with our brave teenager from the get-go.
All right.
So as you think about a lot of girls, I'm sure you have friends that maybe don't think of their dad as being their favorite person in the world or whatever. So could you just start, like, tell us a little bit about you and your family just to set the stage for our conversation today?
Well, as you've already said, I am 16, so right in those teenage years. And my brother is 6.5 years younger than me.
Uh-huh.
So there was a lot of time to, like, just with my parents. That's 6.5 years. Like, that's all the way up to kindergarten of just being with your parents.
All their focus on you.
Yeah. You go from, like, all the focus on you to all of a sudden all the focus on this baby.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a crazy thing because I think most siblings don't have that much difference in age. And yeah, I think that because of that time now we have, like, a bigger foundation. And I guess, like, my parents are my best friends probably because, like, we've gone through, like, life together before Wyatt, and now we have Wyatt with us, and now it's just a lot more fun too because he brings a certain level of just, like, laughter into the family.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, I don't know, I love our family dynamic. So
wow, did you guys just hear that? This is a teenage daughter that actually said she likes her younger brother. You see why I want these two to tell their stories? Okay, so Steve, let's flip over to you. So with Maddie being your oldest and only daughter, take us through what it was like for you then, like as a brand new dad to a daughter 16 years ago, and some of what it's been like through the years to be a dad to a daughter when you had no template of how to do this thing.
Yeah, well, I'll do my best. I was thinking about the day Maddie was born, just we were driving here, because what a surreal experience to actually follow. Mm-hmm. We drove 2 cars here to the studio.
Oh,
And I
wow.
followed Maddie, and it was just fun to watch her, but it was just a point of just release of like, hey, she's grown up and she's out there literally on her own as she's driving. Even here this morning, it was just kind of fun to watch, and she did a great job.
Woo-hoo.
Great job getting here. But I was thinking back to when she was born and the level of excitement that her mom and I had anticipating her arrival. But there wasn't any roadmap for being a dad. And certainly I wasn't ever, now, I was never a teenage daughter. So never a teenage girl. So there's no history that I have. So everything's new. But becoming a dad was amazing, especially becoming a dad of a little girl.
Yeah.
So there was just something that kind of crept up within me that I don't know that I expected. I think I was anticipating being excited, and it was going to be fun. It was going to be hard. It was going to be, how are we going to do this? But there was something that crept up that I wanted to protect her.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So there was just something that I didn't know was there that was latent that came out after she arrived. So, we did. We had 6.5 years with her before Wyatt, and now, and that isn't like that ended. It just set a foundation of just some neat relationship. So we got to navigate new things along the way. Yeah. And we're learning every day. And that's, that's your title, winning the heart of your daughter is, it's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
It's not like it's one and done.
Yeah.
So.
And this may weave later into our conversation, but I'll never forget when you said to me, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but I want to repeat it, is that where I got that title is that you've talked about, do I want to win her heart or do I want to win an argument?
Yeah.
And you have really navigated that change that has to happen in a dad as his daughter grows up. It's different than it was when she was little.
Yeah.
So Maddie, let me flip back over to you. So one of the reasons I invited you here, like I said, is that you recently told me that your parents are your best friends. And I was like, seriously, girl? Are you kidding me? Because I've been walking with teenagers since I was 19. Okay. So over 38 years now. And that is not what I usually hear from them. So to those dads listening today who have teenage girls or girls who are about to head into their teen years, can you speak to what's led to you and your dad being as close as you are today?
Yeah. So those 6.5 years I had before with just my parents, then Wyatt came along. And there was a period of time where between like Wyatt's birth and this trip to Thailand that I didn't really get to see much of my dad because he was finishing your master's.
And you went to Thailand when you were how old?
10.
10, okay.
Yeah. So there was that period of time, and I guess he wasn't really home that often, and I guess everything was kind of crazy for that time period. And probably I wasn't very close to you at all, Dad, probably in that time. I was, but I think I kind of got maybe a certain fear that sometimes people have where the only time I saw you was if I was in trouble or anyway. Yeah. I was really excited to go to Thailand, and I got to go with my dad, and I just got to my eyes were open to what he was dealing with every day as being part of a high school teacher, the interim principal, just what he was dealing with. And it was just kind of eye-opening, and also just kind of, I think, brought us together because we're stuck in a different country. Yeah. We don't speak their language. We have friends there, and I'm with a whole bunch of high school students, and I'm a 10-year-old. Yeah. And so, I am not the same capability as the high school students to take care of themselves yet.
Yeah.
So I was still relying on my dad every day. But I think I did a pretty good job of also being a little bit independent there. But
yeah, I don't know that you remember it exactly the same way I do. But
yeah,
we were there 20.
Which is really valid. Can we stop and say that, dads of teenage daughters? You may have different perceptions of the exact same thing, and there's not right, wrong. It's just you're looking at it from two different sides. So I like that you said that.
I would say this is that she was incredibly independent on the trip. In fact, she spent 0 nights out of 22 nights with me. She was with the team and with the other ladies who were leading. And there was one moment on the trip where she didn't feel good. And
I think I was dehydrated.
Probably just dehydrated. It was hot in Thailand. Yeah. And she came and we went into an air-conditioned room and we started watching The Sound of Music. And I thought, well, I've got her for a couple of hours now. And I was hungry for just time with just her because we were with all these other people and we were serving and all these things. And we watched about a quarter of it. And I had all these snacks, these fun snacks to eat and sit together. And then she said, Dad, I'm good. And she hopped up, ran out, and, I took a picture of her when we were on that trip, and it was blurry. And I sent it to her mom while we were there, and I said, this is what it's like to watch your daughter here. She's just go. She's just going and flying.
And you supported that.
Wow, so fun.
See, that's what's so beautiful here as I watch you guys tell that story is that, Maddie, you're saying there was a foundation laid so that even in those years where Dad was really maxed out and busy and it got hard because we weren't as close, it somehow held.
Yeah.
Because I think that's real life, isn't it? Like crazy schedules, really busy dads and daughters. I think our world is even busier now than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And yet, I think you're speaking to the fact that it's not about all this time together, but it's that you find points to reconnect, to keep the bond going, whether it's out of the country and having an experience where, you're going through something, just the two of you, or whether it's maybe being in the car on the way to school and catching up.
Yeah, which we don't even get that anymore.
No.
Now she's driving.
Good point.
But hey, we get to be here in the studio together.
Yeah.
And that's,
creating a forever memory.
Yeah.
This is probably like the longest we've spent together all week too, which is kind of crazy.
And I so appreciate that you're being honest about that, because you could come in here going, oh, we do a dad-daughter date every week, and you're like, are you kidding me? Where would we fit that in?
No.
But it's how do you be intentional even with the little moments when schedules are really busy? So Steve, let me go back to you. So I had just referenced that, but I want to take you back to that, what I would call a powerful conversation you and I had probably 3 years ago or so, when you had said to me, when we were talking about Maddie, so you would have been in like 7th grade at the time, is you said that you believe that it's more important to win her heart than win an argument. And I thought, I have never heard a dad say that, because what I hear from girls a lot is my dad pulls the power card and he won't let me have my voice because he tells me I'm fighting back or I'm just being difficult or dramatic. And so I remember saying to you something like, Steve, I think if every dad in America understood that concept about it being more important to win her heart than an argument, it would literally change the trajectory of relationships between dads and daughters, because they wouldn't be pulling that power card, but would seek instead to understand their daughter's heart needs in a proactive way. So here we are, 3 years later, like you said, Maddie, I'm right in the thick of adolescence at 16. In your 2nd year of high school. So Steve, talk about just that whole idea of how you continue to navigate winning Maddie's heart at this season of her life.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's an ongoing thing, because there are times, I want to be right. Probably like anybody else, I like to be right. And so there are moments where I'm right and Maddie might have made a mistake, but I've got to be very, very careful in what I do with that. I'd rather have her grow and learn and become the woman that God wants her to become than just to be right in that moment. So that requires me to sort of check my, that thing that rises up that wants to say, hey, wait, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And an update, we're navigating this growing up thing because we want her to become her own person. And we know that's, there's already a Carly and there's already a Steve. There doesn't need to be another. So Maddie's going to be her own person.
Her own Pringle.
That's right. Her own Pringleness. She's making decisions and learning how to be an adult. And since she's never done this before, there's going to be challenges along the way. There's going to be mistakes. I coach Little League Baseball, and I remind our other coaches that we can't expect our kids, and these are 9 and 10-year-olds, to do something that we actually haven't taught them to do. And so I know is that every opportunity is an opportunity to teach and to share and to help Maddie grow. So everything in that sense is practice right now, right? She doesn't have to get it perfect. And I think she feels like that.
Yeah.
She feels like she has to have it perfect. But the way that her mom and I look at it is this is practice. Yeah. And,
I love that.
Things come with natural consequences. And along the way, we need to help put up guardrails because we want to protect her, but we're now protecting her within, the certain, like when she drives, we call it the circle of trust. There's an area that we are comfortable with, and that will be expanding in time.
Yeah.
And so, recently we had a couple of episodes with driving and planning and stuff with friends, and And one point we went outside of that established boundary for a new driver. And I mean, my first reaction that rose up in me was, I'm yanking the keys. That's it. She's not driving for, 10 months. I mean, I could come up with whatever.
Dramatic.
This thing rose up in me. Like, what was she thinking? And thankfully, there was a pause that I was able to have of just to go, okay, what does she need to learn here? Will my reaction bring about the growth that I want to see in Maddie? Am I trying to equip her to make good and safe, life-giving decisions? Sure. So I had to just sort of calm my own spirit, and I've got a beautiful partner that I get to talk about with these things with Carly, and say, okay, I really don't want Maddie to see my reactive side. And so we didn't want to freak her out and say, come home right now. It was, we could have made arrangements to put a sort of safety net around her, and she came home. And then the next day, we talked about what happened.
Keyword, the next day.
Exactly.
Let's sleep on it, not be reactive in the moment.
Yeah, and then we reemphasized the boundaries, reestablished our family processes, and I'm confident that she's going to live within those boundaries because she knows we're not trying to stifle her as a person and growth. I mean, it's natural to just to want to move out. I mean, go do these things, drive all the way there or be with those folks and do those things. It's just a matter of saying, okay, this is how we're going to do it as a family, because that makes us all comfortable. And she's growing in trust and growing in responsibility.
Well, another thing I'll just add is you didn't say this word, but I can tell that you don't shame her.
Oh, I hope not.
Because you're conscious of not wanting to do that.
Yeah.
So Maddie, let me flip over to you. What would you say are some of the ways that your dad wins your heart now that you're a teenager?
I think that, well, for one, he's not afraid to say no. He says what I probably need to hear rather than what I want to hear a lot of the time. And I think both of my parents parent with a lot of grace and not shame, because I think that the situation would be the relationship would be very different if it was like parenting with shame. And
good point.
I mean, I think that, he sits down, he has conversations with me, and he doesn't get up till resolved. We don't just stop halfway through when it gets hard. We keep going. I get blinded by my emotions all the time.
Welcome to being a girl.
Exactly. I am probably 90% emotions and 10% logic sometimes. Yeah. And it just, sometimes I just need a breather, and sometimes I'm just like he just said, I think I'm right a lot, and I'm not. And it's a learning curve, I guess. And
so in other words, it wouldn't help if your dad reminded you how oftentimes you don't know what you're talking about, or
it happens all the time. And I think that the nice thing about it is I don't have to feel guilty about, well, yesterday and the day before I had these problems and we had to talk about it. And instead it's the next day, within 10 minutes of the conversation, it's all back to normal. We're all, hey, let's make lunches, let's get ready for tomorrow. Awesome. Kind of pick right back up where we started. And
well, let me ask you this, Maddie, does your dad's tone have anything to do with the grace piece you talked about?
Probably. He seems like he keeps a level head every time. Sometimes it gets a little bit more, but I think that sometimes when my mom's sitting there, or just anyone, we're all just kind of we need to take a break for just a second. Yeah. Clear our minds for a second.
Good call.
Take a breather, and then we just start right back up again, where we're just this is a good, mature way to talk about this instead of bringing all the emotion into it.
That's awesome. So, Steve, now back to you. What would you say works and doesn't work in the winning of Maddie's heart at this stage?
Well, I won't quit. I won't give up. I'm her only dad. She's my only daughter. So though I'll fight for her heart, I can't demand it, and so I have to win it in that sense. So it's different now.
Yeah.
At 16 than it was when she was 4, 5, 6. Exactly. But I'll take it. Yeah,
you'll take it. So, any other strategies? Because I know you and I have had some conversations. You're a guy that thinks strategy, don't you? You're an executive director. You think that way. Tell us more. Let us hear from you as a dad of a teenage daughter about strategies that you use, put into effect to pursue Maddie's heart.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things we talk about a lot in our home, and I'm quick to do it, I need to lead this way, is I apologize. I try to recognize when I either blown it with my tone or I've blown it with what I've had to say. I've got to let humility be, in a sense, a measure of the strength of my love for my daughter. I'm not afraid to be silly, though. we're not always super silly. We're more silly later in the morning sometimes. But I'll also guard her heart. You know, there are times where I'll step in and I'm stronger with a boundary because I'm trying to guard her heart from maybe something she doesn't see.
Do you tell her
coming.
that ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't get specific.
Does that help though, Maddie? Because rather than my dad's just telling me no.
It's it's frustrating because you're like, I wanted to go do this. He's like, no, we're not going to do that because later on you might like regret it or something. And then it's like later on, I'm like, well, I'm kind of glad I didn't do that. But that might be months later. That might be weeks. Like that might be a long time later. That won't be like a minute later. I'm like, well, I'm super glad he said no.
Yeah. Do you fight him in the moment when he says no? Or do you try to use your voice or push back?
I don't know that I always do that. I think sometimes I just get really frustrated and just pent it up in it because I don't want to like lash out. Because I just would feel worse about that later.
Maybe we need to have a whole teenage girl forum and you can teach some of that to other girls. This will help you in the long run with your dad if you don't have a big reaction, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say with that, I think I try to empower her to be an advocate for herself. And that's part of protecting her is that she learns to protect herself that way. And then I'll make the first move to restore the relationship. That's that's what I will do that because I want the relationship with her.
Yeah, you're the dad.
Solid. I'm the dad. Yeah.
It has to start with dad.
That's right.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, you know, where you do maybe make amends when you've blown it, let me just ask you another question, Steve, is how do you ground yourself when Maddie is escalating emotionally? Because I think a lot of dads of teenage daughters, okay, this might sound ridiculous, but I think they might have the thought, well, to their daughter, well, you started it. You're like, you're the one that had the freak out, so now I'm reacting back to you. Yeah. How do you stay grounded?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll blow it every now and then and fail sometimes. Probably my response to her, my anger looks more passive aggressive than it looks expressive, and I try to recognize that. But I care more about Maddie than I care about being right, and we can figure the rest out as we go. I've seen anger drive kids away, and I certainly don't want to do that. I can think about the power of my own father saying to me when I finally expressed years, maybe 30 years worth of kind of pent up stuff, and he just said, I'd never looked at it from your perspective. When he said that, it just melted away.
And this is in adulthood.
As an adult, right? Yeah. And so I have that in my own mind of not wanting to have those things.
Do you think it would help then if dads did say to their daughters, help me understand this from your perspective?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay that you don't get it, dads. I mean, you're from Mars, we're from Venus, but can you help me understand where you're coming from? Because I clearly don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would help, wouldn't it? So, Maddie, let me just ask you do you have any suggestions for dads with teenage daughters that would help them better connect with their girls?
I would probably just say listen, because I think that's probably really hard for people in the moment to like sit and listen because you want to express how you're feeling. But I think that, my dad listens to me, we listen, and then he'll come back and he'll talk. But he listens to me fully. He listens to what I have to say before just like interjecting into the conversation. She'd be like, well, da da da. Like,
before
I think
done.
this before you're done.
Yeah.
And then, and like what I was saying, just grace. Like my parents, we just talk about how there's a lot of grace because everyone messes up. Everyone, I blow it, you blow it, everybody, we're human.
Absolutely.
And so when there's that grace instead of shame, it just makes all the difference.
So dads, are you hearing from Maddie? She's saying, if you want to win the heart of your daughter, you want to do a better job of listening. Well, I cannot believe how fast our time is going. I want to end, Steve, which is asking you if you could give a go step, an action step to dads of daughters that could help them this week put their love into action for their teenage girls.
Yeah. I think I'd suggest that dads ask their daughters something like this. Are there any withholds that we need to bring out? Is there
what do you mean by that? Withholds?
Like, is there anything that's being held back? Is there anything that I've done or a concern you have or a feeling that's getting in the way? Can we bring that out? And dads invite that out. Yeah. Is there anything I've done that squashed your heart? And I think dads need to share their hearts too.
Ooh, I like that word, squashed your heart. Yeah. And asking it, and then going back to what Maddie said, listening to the response. Because that takes courage, doesn't it? That's a dad who's a hero in my eyes that would come and say, where did I squash your heart? Talk to me. You can tell me anything.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, it has been so fun to have you here on the Dad Whisperer. I would love to have you back sometime. Let's do 17 and 18, shall we?
Okay.
Dad keeps navigating as you launch into adulthood. Well, if you've just joined us, this is the Dad Whisperer, and I've had Maddie and Steve Pringle with me today. The topic is how to win the heart of your teenage daughter. And you've heard today from Maddie, 16 years old, and her dad, Steve, who's encouraged you dads to say, are there any places where I've withheld from my daughter things that she needs that I need to help bring out? Or are there any places I've squashed your heart, hun? Dads, follow Steve's advice. Go have that conversation with your girls. Remember, if you ever want to listen to former episodes, you can go to iTunes, The Dad Whisperer. It's right there. You can go to my website at drmichellewatson.com, and you can always write me at drmichelle@thedadwhisperer.com. So dads, get out there intentionally and consistently. Pursue your daughter's hearts this week. Go dads.
Well, the other night, Maddie came home, and I think she came home late from a track meet or out with friends or something. And she wanted to express. I mean, and there was stuff going on, and there was emotion, and there was relationships, and there was stuff. And we were waiting up, for her to get there so late. And I actually have now turned on my side and have slowed my breathing, and I am ready to go to sleep. And Maddie comes in, and we haven't seen her. Maybe for a couple of days, just because with all her schedule, at least I haven't. And
I wanted to tell you guys all about track meet. I want to tell you about everything.
And I think it involved, I wanted to say what it involved because maybe your friends are listening, but it was stuff. And I just said, I can't do this right now. You guys need to talk.
You thought that or you said it?
I said it. I was so tired. I just said.
I said, okay. And I was like, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. But Mom was like, no, don't leave. So I talked to Mom a little bit, but I was like, I'll just go to bed.
Back up
no, I mean, there's just sometimes when Dad is tired and going to go to sleep, but it doesn't mean I don't care. I just actually.
I didn't take it like offense, like, oh my gosh, she doesn't want to listen to me. It was it was 11:30. It was time to go to bed.
I would like to say that my spirit was willing, but.
But your flesh was definitely weak.
It was done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.